Ruchem Aboim B'Shem Hashem. B'Shem Egan Shir, I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's shir. We have the color of having with us once again Rabbi Yonatan Rietti, noted speaker. I'd like to give a big shekayach to Mr. and Mrs. Matas Abraham, sponsoring tonight's shir, Ili Nishmas, Shomois, Moshe Yaakov, Matasir Sholem, Osher ben Alter Chaim Yeshaya, Chaim Minel Bas Yeshaya Yehuda, Yehudis Bas Moshe Yaakov, Itisar Bas Rabbi Yisrael, and Isha Gittel Bas Yaakov, Aleim HaSholem. Also, as a schutz Zvugim Hagunim for Rachel Bas Gittel Miriam, Nasan Doiv ben Gittel Miriam, and Sarah Leah Bas Malka. And as a Shvach Vaidot Hashem for personal refuahs over the past year. Hoidul Hashem Ki Tov Gilonim Chastoi. Also, I'd like to give a shekach to Elam Shem for sponsoring tonight's shir, Lili Nishmas, from Moshe Nosson ben Rabbi Shaya, and Lili Nishmas, Isha Chai Sarah Bas Tzvi Aleim HaSholem. Also, as a schutzer for Shlema for Eliyahu ben Chai B'Soy Shachel Yisrael. Have the gate schutzer sponsoring a share, call Egan Shir Torah at 718-851-8651 or email ist@yeshivanet.com. It's my cover to call on Rabbi Rietti Shlita for tonight's drasha on the spiritual dimension of eating.
Good evening. Can you all hear clearly? Special thank you to the kind introduction, as usual, from Rabbi Klein. Special thank you to Rabbi Bold for inviting me yet again. I think it's about 30-something years we've been doing this. So I'm old enough to say 30 years ago. Welcome to the spiritual dimension behind eating. It's a fascinating subject, and I would actually like to start off with a date pit. Here I have in my hand, I'm not sure how well you can see this. This is taken from a date. This is a seed of a date. Have I asked you this question before? So here's my question. What is this tiny date seed capable of? In the biggest possible way, answer. There's more than one answer. What's it capable of? It could grow into a palm tree. Excellent. And what will grow from the palm tree? Dates. And are dates filling?
Yes.
Is there a manda amma in the Gemara that claims that if you're satiated by dates and you bench Birkas Hamazon, you're yotzi? Yes. It's that satiating. Let me ask you, in theory, if the entire world was starving, a terrible famine, has v'shalom, how many dates is this one seed capable of producing? How many date trees? Infinite. So could this one date seed potentially provide enough nutrition for the entire population of the world? Yes or no?
Yes. Over time, yes.
Over time. It absolutely could. What else can this do? Are you impressed so far? This seemingly inanimate object has divine intelligence to be able to provide enough dates for the whole world over time. What else can it do? Palm wood. I'll translate. Palm wood. I don't know how you translate it in this country. Palm wood. Palm wood is actually very expensive and it's very durable. It's used for furniture. Could this one date seed provide enough palm trees around the world over time that would actually provide enough furniture and wood for building homes? So it could actually provide furniture and homes for billions of people. Are you impressed by this tiny, one, single date seed? And if you needed to use the wood for firewood, so that you've got fuel to warm yourself Could it actually keep billions of people warm? One small seed. What does that suggest? What's the message this one seed is screaming out in silence? Hashem what? Hashem produced? Hashem gives koyach within the bria to produce and reproduce, which is pretty astonishing. You know, there's a book called Evolution in Crisis. Sorry, just swallowing. By a Dr. Michael Denton, and in chapter 14 there, this is not in my notes, he actually explains that one of the proofs of the faulty theory of evolution is that under the microscope, a cell 140 years ago, Darwin would have been able to see a cell under a microscope at that time 300 times its real size. And under that magnification, you would see total chaos, total random movement of particles. And part of his entire ridiculous theory is based on seeing random movement. Dr. Michael Denton reveals that today we have atomic microscopes. Atomic microscopes can easily magnify the size of a cell to 1,000 million times its size. 1 billion. 1,000 million times its size. If you were to print out what you're able to see under that, you would require enough paper to cover the entire city of Manhattan. What you would see, I should have actually brought it here, but it's a fascinating 1 or 2 paragraphs. What you would see are millions of entrances and exits around the cell. And every fraction of an element of enzymes, many different types, proteins, carbohydrates, oxygen cells, carbon dioxide, blood, or going inside very specific entrances and going along what you would describe as highways until it gets to the huge hub in the middle where he describes as virtual millions and millions of factories where all the different proteins, nutrients that came from your blood into this one cell are converted to energy, and all the toxicity is expelled through different exits. Each exit has a specific purpose, direction. And then he said, this is extraordinary. If this cell were destroyed, how long do you think it would take if Manhattan were destroyed? Manhattan is not nearly as complex as this cell, and yet the design, the obvious, glaring perfection in the intelligence of the design of a single cell would make Manhattan look really like tiddlywinks. That's an expression in England. I don't know if you have an equivalent here in America, but it means that very simple. It's just play stuff. Manhattan, with all its subway system and all the plumbing and all the electricity and the buildings, some of them 100 stories high, very complex. If Has v'Shalom, a bomb fell on Manhattan and destroyed the whole of Manhattan, how long would it take to reconstruct the entire city? You got to remove the rubble. That will take a few years. How long did you think it would take? Probably a few decades, 2 or 3 decades. A single cell, when it's destroyed, it reconstructs itself within 3 hours. Are you impressed with the Bria? What is the message? Hashem what? He controls everything. Excellent. Anything you want to add? Hakol Yachol, everything he can do. Sorry, sir? A little louder? He can say it slowly, sorry. Marchiv. He widens, and then he can mekatzer. So there's nothing Hashem can't do. That's clear. Why is he doing this? Why, for one seed, you could save the whole world? What's the message? Recognize, excellent. What am I supposed to recognize? What else? What about Hashem am I to recognize? If one seed, one cell, is so perfectly designed, for what? You're made up of over 200 trillion cells. Sorry, 2 trillion cells. That's extraordinary. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, here you have delicious chametz. It's yummy, yummy. Is this better? You see a loaf of bread, a few different types of bread here. This bread, what's needed for you to be able to make a bracha, hametzi, and just enjoy one slice of bread? What do you need for this?
Flour and water.
We need flour and water. Before we get to the flour, do you need seeds? These are not actually wheat seeds, but do you need seeds? Yes, the seeds need to be planted in the ground. Do you need a farmer who's actually going to plant the seeds? Yeah, you need a farmer. How many farmers do you think you're going to need? Nationally, worldwide? A few hundred? 1,000? Do you need soil that has been tilled? Oh, so you need soil, fields that is ready for the farmer to plant. Does it need to be plowed? Does it need to be hoed? Oh, so the soil has to be prepared, and then you need water. Is that right? Where are you going to get water from? Well, the oceans provide plenty of that. And how are you going to get the water from the oceans to your field? Irrigation. So, irrigation might be one answer. And in Eretz Yisrael, that is very common. I don't have my irrigation picture here. No. Do we need the local ball of fire, otherwise known as the sun? Do we need that? Why do we need the sun? What's the sun going to do? What's the sun got to do with the oceans? Oh, it's going to evaporate the water, and the water will rise into the form of rain clouds. And for those of us who have experienced some interesting weather systems recently, you'll know that the rain clouds are capable of carrying a lot of water. But what's the point of water on top of the oceans? We've got plenty already in the oceans. So how are you going to get the rain clouds to your farmer's field? Oh, you need wind. So you can't really see a picture of wind. Most physicists will tell you you can't see wind. Actually, you can't even hear it. If you can't see and you can't hear something, it used to be that science would say, then you can't prove it exists. Which the logic of does sound pretty sound. If you can't see something, you can't hear it, how do you measure it? It's invisible. Yeah, try fighting gravity because it's invisible. Don't play games with gravity. Yeah, the clouds, Sham Mayim. Over there are waters. How does it get there? Sa Mayim. The Aleph in Aish is silent. Sham Mayim, we've got Aish and Mayim. The heat from the sun forces the water to evaporate, and now you've got billions of gallons of water rising in the form of vapor until it becomes rain clouds, and now the rain clouds are blown by the wind. The wind blows the rain clouds, and the mountains force the rain clouds to rise until precipitation, condensation at the cooler temperature, and now comes down rain upon your fields and rivers, and then they'll make irrigation little canals to reach to your, and eventually through the sun, rain and wind and gravity, you have your wheat kernels growing, and now you need to harvest them. How many people do you think are involved in harvesting? The combine harvesters, and then you've got the miller who's got to make it into flour, and then you've got the baker who bakes it into bread. What's the message? What's the message? Olam chesed yibaneh. Is this a world of kindness? Yes or no? Chesed, kindness. Olam, world. What does Olam also mean? Hidden. Is Hashem making a big noise? You don't hear a single raindrop. You hear when it impacts the ground or on the leaves. You don't hear or see gravity. You don't even see or hear wind. That's why the word ruach is the three-letter shorish of ruchnius, because ruchnius is spirituality. How do you know there's a world of ruchnius? You can't see it, you can't hear it, you can't measure it. Oh, you see its effects. How do you know wind? Oh, you see the effects of wind. This is a perfect world, a world of pure chesed. How much did you pay for that loaf of bread? Is this a beautiful world, yes or no? The first Apollo mission took pictures of Olam Hazeh for the first time outside of Olam Hazeh, and they nicknamed it, and it remained that name in the world of NASA, Blue Beauty. This world is called Blue Beauty. It's got this gorgeous tchelis shine, aura. The word aura comes from Ur. And Hashem said when he finished making this world, Vayar Hashem. Hashem saw et kol asher asa, all he had made. V'hinei. Very important word. Always pay attention to this word. Every ice in the Torah requires my attention, but when Hashem goes out of his way to tell Moshe Rabbeinu, please write the following words, pay attention. Hine, pay extra attention. You're about to hear something was a huge chiddush. That's what Hine means. Reb Chaim Kanievsky of blessed memory said the word Hine means pay attention because you're about to hear a chiddush. Hine! Time! This world is good! Ma'oid. Exceedingly. This world is exceedingly good. Who's responsible for all this? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, his name throughout the beginning of the Bria is Elokim. What does Elokim correctly translate as? In Shulchan Aruch, what's the meaning of Elokim? Siman Hey Arachayim. Takif. Bala Yachayles. Ba'al HaKoiches Kulam. You are in control of every power. Like this picture here, you see gravity. This poor gentleman over here, he was lying down for the picture, so don't worry. You see the wind? No, you don't see the wind. You see the palm branches being blown by the wind. You see the heat from the sun and the water. And who's the one power who is Ba'al HaKoiches Kulam? He is the one power that's powering all of them. So, ladies and gentlemen, what price do you pay for the thousands and hundreds of thousands, possibly into the millions of people involved in one slice of bread? Do you need trucks? Do you need factories to build the trucks, to bring the flour from the miller to the... Do you need combine harvest? You need so many people involved in one slice of bread. Is it absolutely clear Hashem is kind? What's the message? He's created a beautiful world of extreme chesed. And he does it with no fanfare, no noise. What's the message? Yirmiyahu says it. I have to spell it out. Perek Lamed Aleph, Pasuk Beis. Ahavat Olam, Ahavtich. My love for you is unlimited. Olam, forever. Eternal. Al Kain, which means therefore. So there's a logical extension that because I have unlimited love, therefore mashachti chesed, I've drawn down kindness. Wind is pure kindness. The sun is pure kindness. It's just serving God. That's why it's called Shemesh, from the word Shamash. That's why we would never fall into the trap of thinking the sun is a god, because its name in Lashon HaKodesh is servant. Duh. If it's a servant, that means there's an Adon. So why would a person bow to the servant? That makes no sense. Oh, because you can see the servant and Hashem's hiding. And it's all for Bechira. It's all for one reason. So Hashem created all this, And when you make hamotzi, what's the price you're paying? Okay, a couple of dollars, whatever it is for that loaf. But what's the real price? What does hamotzi mean? For those still awake. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Now, what does a hey hayadia mean? The letter hey in front of hamotzi. The one. It's exclusive. It's not the rain, and it's not the wind. It's not the gravity. It's not the sunshine. It's not the farmer. It's not his hard work. And there's Mrs. Farmer sitting at the table. She finally takes out the yummy dough, sourdough perhaps, from the oven and places it right onto the table. And he says, Hamaitzi, lechem min haaretz. And she says, excuse me? What do you mean, Baruch Ata Hashem? Elokeinu melech ha'olam? Hamaitzi? You played a part in this. And I worked hard as well, taking care of the family while you're out working all day in the fields. Hamaitzi is the only one. That is the whole point. And here comes the real big question. What's the point of eating?
Survive.
So, Poshup Pshat, it has to be, I can't live without it. That's how you hold the soul, the neshama, and the body as one. If a person starved to death, the neshama is going to die at some point. It's joined through food. But here's the question. Rabbeinu Shloim, Ata Hakol Yachol. You can do anything and everything. And I know you didn't consult me at the time of the Bria, but if you think about it, is eating food economical? Hashem could have easily put all the nutrition required for optimum health and survival in the air. Do away with the digestive system. You don't need any food growing from trees, no food growing out of the ground. You don't need any meat to eat. All you have to do is you just breathe in a cocktail of delicious oxygen and all the nutrition that you would have got from food, carbohydrates, proteins. It's all in the air. Wouldn't that be a much more efficient world, much more economic? And now my time is freed up from having to earn a living to put food on the table. We'd have so much time freed up to learn, daven, do other ruchnistic things, all the mitzvahs. Why did Hashem select a less economic plan, I'm going to call it plan B, instead of plan A? Plan A would have been much easier. There's no defecation, no urination. There's so many amenities we need because of our body, but just breathe it in the air and you'll have a more sophisticated respiratory system where the lungs integrate all the nutrition in the atmosphere and you breathe it out. And that's it, you're done. And the answer is very simple. Eating is a royal decree. It's a chayk. It's not simple. It's an excuse. It's a camouflage. It doesn't make sense. The reason why Hashem did that is for the simple reason that when I'm eating, you can't talk. It's actually a halach in Shulchan Aruch. Kuf Ayin in Aruch Hayim, Sif Aleph. Ein masichen besuda. Shouldn't talk during the meal. Why not? A person could choke. And that's not a joke. He could choke to death, true or false. Yes. In my lifetime, I've seen two people almost choke to death. Once was in a hotel. The other one was at a bar mitzvah. It was shocking. It was really scary to see it. And Baruch Hashem, someone knew how to do the Heimlich movement in both cases. It's a very serious matter. Talking while eating is dangerous. Why? Because the trachea has a cap. That's where I'm breathing. And the cap is closed so that the esophagus, where the food goes down, is open. So, ein masichin besuda. Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach of blessed memory, in Dirshu on Mishnah Berurah edition, I just saw it this morning. He says there that it's not mutter for a person to talk to someone who's eating, because it might cause them to answer back while they've got food in their mouth. Should wait till they I'm still from a generation, I remember living in England, where adults at the meal, restaurants and in social gatherings, we would sit down, and while we're eating, the correct etiquette at that time, and I saw it in Ben Ish Chai as well, Parshas Bachar, I think it is, in the halachas of Derech Eretz of the Suda, that when you put food in your mouth, the spoon or the fork goes right down and you leave it there until you finish chewing with your mouth closed. And then when you finally swallowed, you take another helping. Or you can have a conversation if someone's not eating, but usually during the course, people wouldn't talk. Ein masichin besuda. It's actually a Mishnah in Brachas, in Perek Vav, where the Bartanur talks about don't make a bracha on wine in the middle of the meal where people are still eating, because in answering Amen, they might choke to death. So it's interesting. What am I supposed to be doing when I can't talk? Ein masichin besuda, I can't talk. It's a halacha. Someone to say, Shomer P'sayim Hashem, that we are unfortunately so ragil in talking while we're eating that Hashem guards us. But I've seen 2 times in my life someone almost die from it. And it won't hit the front pages. It can be very serious. So what am I supposed to be doing while I'm chewing? Thinking. Excellent. Says the Bartanura, my mind is on the chewing. What are my thoughts supposed to be doing? Where should my mind be? What should I be thinking? Shulchan Aruch tells me, never be bakas at the time of eating. Because our thoughts affect every part of our body. Everything you think immediately is translated by your heart, and that message is sent to the entire body in real time. A person thinks fear, anxiety, pain, bitterness, anger. The heart beats differently. And the blood that exits from the heart to the rest of the entire body is not the same quality of blood, because your thoughts affect every part of the body. Try it. I'm going to ask you, I'm not going to watch and test you, but just tell your toes inside your shoes to wiggle. Just go like that. Now, how do you do that? How did you do that? How did you get your mind? How does your mind affect that? See, you're living in a world that looks like it's Gashmias, it's really Ruchnias. The purpose of eating is a brilliant camouflage. It's a cover-up. You have to eat at least once or twice a day, at least, and maybe snack a bit here in between. So you're forced to reach a point where, because you can't talk, you're supposed to think. What am I supposed to think? So Rabbi Victor Miller, it was probably in one of his publications, but I remember listening to it on a tape about 45 years ago. You're forced to train in happiness, because in the moment of silence that you're chewing, the longer you chew, this is Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, Siman Lamed Beis, I think it's a halacha tes vav. I didn't check before, it might be Yud Gimel. He says there, don't eat your food. Do not eat your food. That's my translation of his words. Don't eat food. Drink it. Meaning, chew. And chew. And chew until it's liquid. And then swallow. Now, I didn't check which siman this is in, but you can check it out in Mishnah Berurah, in the halachas of Leil Seder, where it's important to finish a kazayas of matzah in a short period of time. Some say as little as 2 minutes. It's dry, especially if you're Ashkenazi, you're not used to the Sephardi pita, which is, you can't tell the difference, but the Teimani version of matzah. But for Eastern Europeans for thousands of years, my mother was born in Baghdad. I always told her she should have been born in Baghdad. Mom, no, she's born in Baghdad. Okay, so she told me, when she first came to England, she escaped from Baghdad in 1951. She never saw matzah as crackers before. It was never seen or heard of. So they ate what you and I would think is pita bread, but it simply was, it was dough that was baked within 18 minutes. But it looked like it, and it tasted exactly like bread. It was just much more fresh, but the point is, how are you going to eat a kazayas, a matzah, especially if you follow those who claim it's 3/4 of a matzah? How are you going to eat it in 2 minutes? And the answer is, chew. You can take as long as you want chewing, and then swallow it in about 4 seconds. Because it's the eating which is the achila. This is the achila, when it goes down your throat. Oh, chew till liquid. When you chew, what happens to the food? Less or more exposure to your taste buds? More. So you actually get to enjoy it for longer. What am I supposed to do with that hana? And the answer is, thank you, Hashem. I have to make a bracha because I know in advance I'm going to get hana. And now I'm actually enjoying the food, and so now is the moment to say thank you in my mind. Adds Rabbi Victor Miller, there's a lot of other messages. Oh, so happiness is paying attention to the good that's in my life, in my wife, in my spouse, in my house, in my business, with my parents-in-law, with my children, with my grandchildren. Oh, you own a home? You got a mortgage? You don't have a mortgage? Oh, you don't have any debts? You paid off your credit cards? You paid off your whatever it is, when am I going to get around to being grateful? I'm in a rush with Shemona Esrei, and sometimes it doesn't always happen. But you can't do anything else except chew when you're eating. Because ein masichin basuda. According to the Ben Ish Chai, it's even stronger than that. He says, in Hilchos Shabbos, the Ben Ish Chai brings that ein mekachim ela b'makom suda. You can't make kiddush except where you're going to eat. So it's more of a Hasidic avot, but the Ben Ish Chai, who was not Hasidic, he was Rosh Mekubalim in Iraq, died in 1909. So he says, Ein Mekachin Ela Basuda means, you know where Kedusha really takes place? It's when you're eating. Because it's the time of chewing when you can't talk anyway, you have intimacy with your Creator. H for happiness, A for appeasement. That is huge. Appeasement. There's so many things going in my life. So much stuff between the kids that are married, the kids that are not yet married, the kids that are divorced, the kids that are not yet divorced, the kids that have got children who are not doing well in the system. Then you've got kids who are doing so well in the system, they're bored out of their brains because they understand the sheer first time round and they need more stimulation. And I've got so many things on my mind that I could easily, has v'shalom, fall into the trap of complaining. The worst midah in the Torah. Lashon hara is complaining. Why don't you have a mind like mine? Sinat chinam, which is Lashon hara and Sinat chinam are twins, according to the Chavetz Chaim. I don't like your averos and I hate you for them. There was a bacha very recently put a plaque up on the door of his dormitory. Don't just hate me because my averas are different to yours. Meaning, Ein Tzadik Ba'aretz Asher Yaseh Tov V'lo Yechta. There's no such thing as a person who's perfectly righteous and never makes a mistake, only does good. No such thing. So I'm going to hate you because of your averas? Yeah. What about my averas? I've got different averas. Yeah, but I've also got, so why am I hating you? You should hate me then. It makes no sense. So comes along Hashem and says, chewing is a moment to be appeased. Because no matter what else is going wrong in my life, when I'm eating, it's a moment to realize, Rebbeinu Shleilam, whatever I thought I might complain to you about, I really have no right to. Because look how good you are to me. My tongue swishing the food around my mouth. My teeth breaking the food down. Oh, the enzymes in the gums of my mouth are coming out and actually helping break the food down. So the longer we chew till liquid, the more surface area is exposed to the taste buds. The more you enjoy it, the more it's getting broken down in your mouth before it enters your stomach. And now the stomach has a harder time or a much easier time breaking the food down there because the digestion already began over here. Oh. Is that a reason to be grateful? Thank you, Hashem. I have food in my life. According to Rambam, when a person chews to liquid, he ends up reaching satiation 1/3 sooner. That's natural dieting. Please don't tell Ozempic because they will not be happy with this. Natural dieting is eating to liquid and chew and chew and chew and then swallow, because you're going to reach satiation 1/3 sooner. Oh. Eating is not about the food. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I give you health. It's not the food that's giving you health. It's a pasuk in Dvarim Perek Ches, Parshas Ekev, pasuk base till Dalet. Uzachart et kol haderech. Remember the entire journey. Asher holich Hashem Elokecha. That Hashem, your power of all powers, led you. Zeh Arbaim Shana. Actually, Sefer Charedim puts a comma, so to speak, right after Hashem Elokecha. And he learns there, you got here a Tariq mitzvah, one of the Tariq mitzvahs, and you'll find it in Sefer Charedim. It's got a list of all the mitzvahs that have to do with different parts of your body. So in chapter 9, it's mitzvah number 23 there. He tells you that there's a mitzvah to be grateful, and we learn it from this pasuk. And the gratitude should begin from the beginning of your journey. When's the beginning of your personal journey? Because it's in singular. He's talking about you personally. So from the moment of conception, that's the Sefer Charedim. From the moment you were conceived till you were born, there was a lot of things could have gone wrong. Oh, so should I be grateful I was conceived? Do you know what a lottery you just won is? You're talking about hundreds of millions. The chances are 1 in hundreds of millions that you would be conceived. And there's so many things that could go wrong in those 9 months that the mother is carrying us in her womb. So the rest of the pasuk is telling me to be grateful to my parents. It says here, I'll get to a different pasuk about the parents. Be grateful for all the journey I've taken you on, including all the way back to the 40 years in the desert, and all in between, 3,338 years ago till today, all the people that were in my life before me, that gave birth to my parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great, all the way back till Har Sinai, that's where we were labeled, finally, Jewish, forever, no matter what. Be grateful for all that. And why did Hashem do that? He took you 40 years in the Midbar, lima'an, for the sake of, so you're about to hear a reason why you were 40 years in the desert. Anoisecha, to give you a hard time, to pain you. Why? L'nasoisecha, to test you. L'das, to know, es asher bilvavecha, what's going on inside your mind, in your thoughts. Leiv means mind. The vast majority of times, peace be with me, King James Bible says it's heart, and we're stuck with that translation. Vast majority of times, the word leiv means mind. Rabbis machashavais ba. Where do you do your thinking? Over here or over here? You do it over here. Your physical heart feels your thinking. That's always the case. You can only feel your thinking. You're not feeling anything else. You're not feeling angry at someone. You're feeling your thoughts of anger at someone. There's no such thing as you making me mad. It doesn't work like that. It's my thinking about what you said or did that's making me mad. So comes along the pasuk and says, how will I know what's going on inside your thoughts? Rabbi Victor Miller talks about this many times. The word leiv means mind. Leivav, when it's doubled over, it means thoughts. You just look at the pasuk. Love Hashem with all your thoughts. Leiv doesn't mean heart over there. And if it did, then it would have to be translated as your hearts. You should love Hashem with all your hearts. That doesn't make sense. And if you're going to go with the translation, please don't look. But if you're going to go with the translation that is mistranslated, that says, love Hashem with all your heart, then the Hebrew should have been b'chol libecha. Do you understand? Because but it doesn't say with all your heart. It says b'chol levavcha. You don't have two hearts. I was talking about your Yetzer Tov and your Yetzer Hara. Oh, those are machshavas. Hashem's testing me. What's going on inside my mind when he gives me a little bit of a hard time in those 40 years? And what was the specific about that? Hatishma mitzvah. Will you remember? That's what Shmira really means, but we'll keep it with a Christian translation. Will you guard my mitzvahs? Imlai or not? V'yancha v'yarivecha. I pained you and I made you hungry. Ra'av. You were hungry. Ran out of water, thirsty, ran out of bread, ran out of man, ran out of the matzah. V'ya'achilecha es haman. What did Hashem do next? He gave you the man. Asher lo yadata. You never knew of this food. Min hashamayim. You never saw this food before. It doesn't grow from the ground. V'lo yad'una avosecha. Your parents never knew it. You never heard of this type of food ever before. Lema'an. Do you know why I fed you 40 years in the desert with this man? Leman, in order, hoidiacha, to make known to you, ki loy al halechem levadai yichyeh ha'adam. A person is not alive because of bread alone. Oh, so what's making me alive if it's not the bread? Ki al kol ma'itzefi Hashem yichyeh ha'adam. It's whatever comes out of my mouth that dictates whether you're alive or not. So if I put my command that the food you're eating should be nutritious, you'll be alive because of my command. It's not the food. It's interesting that the Zohar, Parshas Ekev, page 272, I just saw it this morning, actually says, why does the word lechem share the three-letter root of milchama? Why does milchama, which means war, battle, share the three-letter root for lechem, which is bread, food? And the answer is, most of the time we're battling over territory for food and resources, etc. But actually on a very simple, deeper level, it's quite simple. Says the Zohar that Ikar milchama is b'shas hasuda. You know when the real battle is? When I'm eating. That's the real battle. And we're not talking about how much I'm going to eat. That's a battle as well. The battle is taking place over here. This is World War III. Am I going to eat with anxiety because I'm scrolling down all the time? Oh my gosh, Trump said that? No, I don't believe it. No, no, Israel, no, I read it. And I'm beating myself up while I'm chewing. How should I be living? How should I be chewing? Don't look at the news. It's not news. It's only bad news. Bad news there's plenty of. While I'm chewing, it's time to pay attention to the good news. You are Elohim. And you said the world is really good. I mean, if you say it's good, that's a pretty reliable heksha. You said, Toiv ma'oid, Rabbeinu Shloilam. Rabbeinu Shalom, you said Toiv ma'oid. Do you know when you said that? Vay'erev vayvoker, Yom HaShishi. And now Hashem saw all he made, and it's exceedingly good. So Hashem made this report right at the end of the sixth day. You got the chronological sequence here? Who was created on the sixth day? Adam. Which hour of the day was he created? He was created in the first 3 hours. And the 4th hour, Hashem blew into him his neshama. The 5th hour, he stood up. It's a language of independence. The 6th hour, he named all the animals. The 7th hour, he married Chava. 8th hour, gave birth to Cain and Hevel, the twins, the twin sisters. And 10th hour, Hashem said, don't eat from that tree. Me'etz hadas toivara. Don't eat from that tree. What did he do in the next hour? He ate from the tree. Then Hashem sits down with his beis din in the 11th hour to pass verdict, and in the 12th hour of the day, that's the end of the day, he expels Adam and Chava from Gan Eden. Okay, you ready for the final report? Because at the end of almost every single day, Hashem said, Vayar Hashem ki toiv. Oh, you said it's good, it must be good. Now let's hear the end of the whole report. Oh my, I can't believe it. The whole purpose of the rest of the entire creation was just for this moment, for Adam. And he got and blew it. And now we know it's like almost 6,000 years of Tikkun HaOlam. He blew it. He ate from the wrong tree. And what's Hashem's final report? Hine, you got to pay special attention. Because you might think that he's messed up royal and it's going to take a long time to fix. That might be true. But I'm telling you, from my perspective, and God's perspective is the only perspective. That's the only MS. Hine, please pay attention. Time ma'od. This world is exceedingly good. No matter what gets messed up, no matter how many people hate us, it's still an exceedingly good world. Why? The worst thing that can happen is that I die. No, that's not the worst thing. Listen, nobody escapes this world alive. Get that clear. Nobody ever escaped. Okay, there were 9 exceptions, Chazal do tell us. Masechta Derech Eretz, I think it's Perek Aleph. Chesed gives us nine names of different people that did leave this world without physically dying. But otherwise, we're going to die. Dying is not the last chapter. There's Tchias HaMeisim coming soon in the cemetery near you. Actually, that's not accurate unless you're in Eretz Yisrael, because that's where all Tchias HaMeisim will actually be. But that's the last chapter. Bayom Ahu, Yeh Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. The whole purpose of creation will come to its zenith then. But right now, you and I are stuck in a world that when things don't look good, Baruch Dayan HaEmes. And when things are good, Baruch HaTov HaMeitiv. So we fracture God. We've split him up. When things are good, I'm happy, and I say a bracha for that. And when things are not good, I say HaTov HaMeitiv. But what do Chazal tell us I'm supposed to do with that bracha? How am I supposed to say it? It's a simon in Shulchan Aruch based in the Mishnah. Last perek of brachas, Mishnah Hey. Chayev Adam levarech al hara, kishem mevarech al hatoiva. So the Gemara has a problem with what do you mean? You make the bracha on the bad like you do on the good. There's 2 separate brachas. So how do you make the same bracha on both? Baruch Dayan HaEmes doesn't fit for when things go well. So why would you say Baruch Dayan HaEmes at the chuppah? You should say HaTov HaMeitiv. You better not make that bracha at the chuppah, but I'm just giving you an example. So answers the Gemara, no, it doesn't mean the same bracha, because we do make separate brachas. It means that Chayev Adam levarech al hara kishem mevarech al hatoiv, with the same simcha. And it's paskin in Shulchan Aruch. Reish Chaf Beis, Sif Gimel, Chayev Adam levarech al hara kishem mevarech al hatoiva. B'das shalema. His mind is completely it's not under any pressure. He's fully mindful when he makes this bracha with simcha. Ubenefesh chafetza, and he's willingly doing it. Eating is a milchama. It's a time of battle. Will I screen out the ra that appears to be ra and just hook into my thoughts? Rebbeinu Shalom, you're so good to me. Let me be appeased to you for all the stuff that's going on in my life and admit that you're still very good to me. That's a chazal. We learn it out in Eruvin, I think it's Samach Hey, which talks about Kol HaMefateh B'yenu Shel Chaverei. Anyone who's appeased by someone else's wine. You had a tiff. The Gemara talking about where you got into a sichsuch. You had a fight with another person, your friend, your neighbor, a relative, and then that neighbor brings a nice gift of your favorite wine. How should you react? So I could say, take your wine. I'm not going to take your bribes. This doesn't change who you were and what you said. Or I could do what the Gemara says. Call anybody hamefate that is appeased b'yenu shel chaverei yesh lo midas koinai. He's got the mindset of the Almighty Creator. Whoa, really? Yes. Because when Noach, the Gemara brings there, came out of the Teva, Noach saw devastation, cried uncontrollable tears, and complained to Hashem. Why didn't you have Rahmanas on your creation? Not going into detail, we mentioned it a few times before, but you'll look it up in the Tikkun Isaiah. It actually says there that Noach said to Ben Shleilam, how could this be? You destroyed everything. Why didn't you have Rahmanas? So Hashem said to Noach, you raya shoita, you foolish shepherd. 120 years you're building the Teva. How many times did you daven to me that I should have Rahmanas on the Bria? This number here, it's round, 0. And now you're complaining to me. So Noach, he had a pretty good self-esteem. He said, Rabbi Shalom, I thought of davening to you, but it occurred to me that the world was so wicked. I was just looking at Las Vegas. There's so wicked. The evil, the promiscuity, the decadence has gone so far. I couldn't believe that you would have forgiven them. So I didn't daven. So what was Hashem's answer? You're right. I would not have saved the world had you davened. But I would have saved your davening for a future date. Because you were the only tzaddik. In fact, you're the first person in the Torah who's called Ish Tzaddik. And because of that responsibility of being the tzaddik of the generation, you should have prayed for them. So what did Noach do? What did he do? He got the best, most delicious, sweet smelling barbecue. And he brought it to Hashem as a korban. And the pasuk says, Hashem was mehane from the reach nichayach of the korban. And right away Hashem said, I'm never going to do this again. And that's where the Gemara derives that when things go wrong, say sorry to Hashem, bring a korban to Hashem. How do you bring a korban to Hashem? If it's a shlomim, Hashem gets some of it, and the Baalim get some of it, the Kohanim get. You eat it. And it's b'shas achila. It's a time of eating that there's a moment of appeasement. The purpose of eating is not the food. The purpose of the eating is not the nutrition. It would have been much more economical and efficient to breathe all the... Hashem could have put it in the air. No, the purpose is to get me to say thank you, to be happy, to be appeased, grateful. Uzachartet kol haderech. Please remember the entire journey of your life. And the older you and I get, the more we appreciate so many things in our lives that we didn't understand how they were really blessings and stepping stones and growing up pains. And now the more gray we get, the more we are able to look back and say, God, you were good. And you are good. And the more erech apayim we are able to have for the future with our kids, with the grandchildren, with the children-in-law. So the word milchama comes from lechem because the real battle is not taking place in the Middle East. It's taking place in the middle of my head. Am I going to live a life of happiness, appeasement, gratitude? Or am I going to be angry, complain, deny it's my fault, give excuses why it's everyone else's fault, and ask for shalom? Live a life of bitterness and resentment. I gave you the best years of my life, and that's how you talk to me. And before you know it, the relationship's going down, spiraling down. Oh, the main milchama is b'shas hasuda. It's at the time that we're eating. It's a time of intimacy with my Creator. I'm alone with you. I can't talk anyway. So what am I going to do? Think. Chew. I'm so grateful for the food. Help this food be nutritious for my body. Help me not to overeat. Help me to enjoy food and say thank you. Help me that this food will reach all the parts of my body that needs healing that I may not even be aware of. There's lots and lots of things to say thank you to Hashem for while we're eating. And here's what's so beautiful about it. I mess up the vast majority. I forget to say anything after I made the bracha. I forget. I'm just eating. I'm talking. Reading. And I completely forget to say anything inside my mind. Rebbeinu Shalom, I love you. You're so good to me. You're so good to me. I know why you gave me this wind. I know why you gave gravity. I know why you gave sunshine. I know why you give rainfall. I know why you give me this food. It's for me to realize, Avas olam ahavtich. I have loved you an unlimited love. Al kain, that's why, mashachti chesed, I draw down, I shower you with kindness. And it's b'shas achila that a person can be zeicha to this more than any other time. In Likutei Moharan from Rav Nachman of Breslev, he actually brings in Torah number 7, paragraph 10 in Tinyana, that the Ikar Ratzon, the main Ratzon a person's capable of coming to, a craving, a deep must, wanting to be close to Hashem, and Yirat Shemaim, is Dafka B'Shas Achila. I'm going to share with you in a few moments a pasuk that actually says that out loud, that the purpose of eating is to come to Yiras Hashem. The Yetzer Hara knows how much a human being, in the simple act of eating, which I have to do anyway, and no matter how many times I mess up, don't worry, because there's breakfast tomorrow morning. And if I mess up on that, don't worry, there's lunch, and then there's supper, and there might be a few snacks in between. It's all day, not all day, but it's many times a day I have to refuel, because Hashem made a system where I need to refuel. But the refueling has nothing to do with the refueling. Ki lo ya'ala lechem levado yichyeh adam. It's not the bread that's making you alive. And like kol hamotzi pi, it's only what's coming out of the mouth of Hashem yichyeh adam. So when Hashem says, I'll bring you refuah through this food, through this medicine, through this therapy, through this exercise. Oh, exercise. Oh. I forgot to go to the gym this morning. That's 7 years in a row. Hashem wants me to live a life of gratitude, of appeasement, to feel intimate with Hashem. I'm alone with you. Nothing else exists right now except the food in my mouth, which I'm chewing, just as an excuse to enjoy the food, to say thank you to you. And all this is a tikkun for our good friend, Adam HaRishon. Oh boy, did he mess up! What was the first tzivui? What was the first command given to Adam? Don't eat from the tree is in chapter 2, verse 17. Chapter 2, verse 16 says the first command. Vayitzav Hashem Elokim. Whoa, this is a biggie. You're using both your names, Yud Kei Vav Kei and Elokim, and you're saying Tzav. This is a command. Al ha'adam. Whoa, this is going to be heavy. This is what is it? What is it? Mikol Eitz Hagan. From every single tree in the garden. Achal toichal. You got to eat. The first mitzvah. See the Radak there. This is a lashon of a tzivui. It's a real mitzvah, and the fact that it's achal toichal, it's doubled over, because Hashem really wants you to take this seriously. Enjoy my world. Sefer HaYashar claims there were over 800,000 trees in Gan Eden. Now Adam was meant to live a long time. Very, very long time. Forever. So if you do the math, it would take quite a few lifetimes to get through the whole of the gun before you get back to the first fruit that you haven't tasted in about 1,000 years. Please enjoy my beautiful garden. By the way, P.S. Pasuk Yud Zayin. Me'etz hadas tov v'ra al toichal mimenu. Oh, that one don't eat from. Don't eat that. Because if you eat from the tree that gives you the knowledge of a false world, that there's good and there's bad. Don't eat from there. It'll kill you. It'll kill you. If you think there's bad in this world, it can pull me down until I become, Has v'shalom, a complainer, angry, bitter, resentful. So comes along the pasuk, Perek Hes, also in Pashtim Ekev, pasuk Tesayin. Hamalcha man b'midbar. I fed you man in the midbar. Asher lo yaducha avosecha, that your fathers didn't know about. Lima'an, very similar to the previous pasuk, but you'll see there's an extra piece. Lima'an, in order la'anoisecha, to pain you. Why are you giving me pain? No, I'm not paining you to hurt you. I'm squeezing you, not to hurt you, to see what comes out. And when you get squeezed, what comes out? Whatever's inside. Oh, I'm squeezing you, leman nasoisecha, to test you, lehetivcha, to benefit you. Ba'achrisecha, in the end. In the end, it's for your benefit. How am I going to leave this world? Love Hashem b'chol levavcha, with all your thoughts. Uv'chol nafshecha, with all your life, with all your soul. Rabbi Akiva, famous Gemara there, Samach Hamon Beis, in Brachas, b'chol nafshecha means with all your soul. When does your soul leave your body? So the Gemara says, afilu notel nafshecha, even when Hashem takes your neshama out of your goof, what should be my last breath? What should I be saying? I love you! That's what the Pasuk says. We're practicing every night, every morning. Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha, love Hashem b'chol nafshecha, with all your thoughts, b'chol levavcha, with all your life. How do I love Hashem with all my life? When He takes my soul out of me, what will I say? So it's really to benefit me in the end. The Amarta, and you said, and I'm adding foolishly, the Amarta bilvavecha, and you said in your thoughts, Koichi! It's my strength! The Eitzim Yadi! And the power of my hand! Asa li es achayel hazeh. That's why I'm healthy. I exercise and I eat well. And I'm kind to these people, and that's why they're nice back to me. And Hashem says, everything you have is a gift from me. Even your intelligence. Mesil Shisharim uses the Lashon, afilu kol ma she'adam masig, einoi, ella chesed kel alav. Everything a person has an insight, an understanding of, is purely kindness from Hashem upon you. V'zachat et Hashem lokecha. Remember Hashem, your power of all powers. Ki hu hanoisen l'chakayach. He is the only one. Hanoisen. He's the only one. It's not the food. It's not the business acumen. It's not because you went to Harvard Law School or business. None of that. Your success is only because V'zachata, please remember, et Hashem Elokecha, ki hu ha noiten. He's the only one who's giving leha koach lasos chayil, to be successful. He's the only one. Rabbeinu Bachya says on this pasuk, Perek Ches, pasuk Tesayin, that eating is a training in patience. Because every night we went to bed in the midbar with an empty larder. And you had to rely on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but the next morning there'll be enough food for your family. But you never went to bed with any food in the larder or the refrigerator. By the way, if you're not supposed to eat at night, then why do all refrigerators have a light? It's one of those conundrums. It's like the kamikaze pilots. Could never figure out why they wear helmets. Why are they wearing safety helmets?
Turn it off anyway.
Perek Yudalet, same pashas in Dvarim. Perek Yudalet, pasuk Chaf Gimel. V'achalta lifnei Hashem Elokecha b'makom asher yivcha. This is talking about Ma'aser Sheni. You're going to eat in the place Hashem has chosen for you, l'shakin shmoi sham. That's the base of Mikdash. Masa tigrancha, the Ma'aser from your grain, tiroshcha, your grapes, referring to wine, v'yitzarecha, and oil, uv'chayres b'karecha v'tzoynecha. Lima'an. Do you know why I'm commanding you to eat all this Ma'aser Sheni, 4th and 7th year in Yerushalayim? Leman tilmad leyira es Hashem Elokecha kol hayamim, so that you can teach yourself how to have yira for me. So you look up Sefer HaChinuch. It's in mitzvah number 364. He tells you that Hashem designed that we have to come to Yerushalayim at least twice a year. We really 3 other times, but at least twice a year with our own food. And if it's too much to bring, we put it on money, and the money we can only buy food with. And we come to Yerushalayim and we eat. Why are you eating there? What's all this eating? Because in Yerushalayim, you will be exposed to Shevet Levi, the Kohanim, and Leviim. You'll be exposed to all the hundreds of yeshivas of Talmidei Hachamim and Bnei Yeshiva. And says to the Sefer Chinuch, your children will be so inspired that even though you're so busy all year with the agriculture of your land, they will be inspired and they say, Daddy, could you let me stay? I want to join Shevet Levi. So that at least one member of each family will be in Yerushalayim all year round, learning to be close to Hashem through dveikus with Hachamim and Tzaddikim. Because L'dabek Boy, which is a mitzvah aseh deoraisa, and many count it as in Tariag, L'dabek Boy, to cleave to Hashem, how do you do that? Oh, says Rambam, L'dabek b'yoidav, to be davik to Talmidei Hachamim. Marry their daughter, marry your child to a Talmid Hacham, do pragmatia, do business with them. Then you come into exposure of how to do masa matan be'emuna and eat and drink with them. And then you'll learn how to be close to Hashem. You'll learn Yiras Hashem. Wow! Food is about Yiras Hashem, it's about dveikus. It's not about nutrition, it's a cover-up. So why does the Pasuk end off Kol HaYamim? That you should learn Leman Tilmad Liras Hashem Elokecha Kol HaYamim, because it's telling you that even after Yerushalayim is destroyed, and you don't have the mitzvah of Ma'aseh Sheni, but you learned how to eat in order to have Yiras Hashem. And that's going to be all the rest of your days until the Bayis Shlishi will be rebuilt. That's actually a Sifri. The Gemara Brachas Nun Hey Amud Aleph says, why is it that the Mizbeach is mentioned first in the Pasuk in Yecheskel Perik Mem Hey, Mem Aleph Pasuk Chaf Beis? The Mizbeach ate Shalosh Amos, and then Zeh HaShulchan Asher Lifnei Hashem. Why does the Mizbeach get mentioned before the Shulchan? So answers the Gemara, Kol Zman Shebeis HaMikdash Kayam, because while we had the Beis HaMikdash, Mizbeach Mechape Al Yisrael. Every morning, every evening, the Korban Tamid was Mechape for all our Averas from the previous day, when it was brought the Korban Tamid in the morning, and at the evening, it was a Mechape, a kapara for all our Averas during the day. The Achshav, but now we don't have the Mizbeach. Shulchan Shaladam Mechaper Alav. The Shulchan. Because we're Moisa Nefesh. The biggest Moisa Nefesh is what am I thinking? To conquer my anger, resentment, bitterness, Natira, Nekama, Sinner, Tachrus, Lashon Hara, Leitzanos, Einas Dvarim. There's so much for me to conquer. And says Hashem, when are you going to do that? There's only one time that you can't talk. Ein masichin basuda. While you're chewing and enjoying Hashem's blessing of the delicious food. And I close now. Avram Avinu, how was he Makarev in his attempt to Makarev the whole world? What medium did he use? Spreading of intellectual pamphlets and books, and Chazal tells us he actually wrote many Sfarim, but what was his main activity? He opened up motels in the most remote places in the desert, wherever there would be a crossroads where travelers would travel, and he gave them the most sumptuous meals. Now, if you go to Pita Derech Eretz, at the end of the meal, say, wow, that's got to be one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. I can't thank you enough. He said, why are you thanking me? He said, because you and your wife, it was the most amazing meal. But I didn't provide the food. He said, I saw you serve it. Your wife was busy baking all the time. No. And he gets into the whole conversation. There's a Bayer Elam. This came from the wind and the sunshine and the rain and the seeds in the ground. I didn't do. Hashem is the one. Who's Hashem? And he got them to say thank you. And if they refused, he gave them a bill. And then they changed their mind. They said thank you. And Yitzhak learned this powerful way of coming close to Hashem. Look at the words and don't be fooled by your first grade impression. What did Yitzhak say when he wanted to give a bracha to his bachar, who would continue giving a bracha to the rest of Klal Yisrael? And he at that time thought it was Esav. What did he say to Esav? Perek Havzayin Pasuk Dalet. V'asa li mat'amim. Make me delicious, yummy, delicious food. Kasher ahavti. Like I love, my favorite. And you're saying, this is one of the others, right? Really? This is what is going on? He wants delicious food that he knows Esav knows he loves? What It's Taivas Achila. What's going on over here? Ve'avi ali, bring it to me. Va'achela, and I will eat it. You know why? Do you know why I'm going to eat it? Not because it's delicious. That's a cover-up. The deliciousness is to get you into a state of ecstasy. And don't confuse that with a drug. It's an English expression for when a person's extraordinarily happy. V'achela, I'm going to eat it. Ba'avu tivarechecha nafshi, so my soul will bless you. It's in a state of delicious food, being grateful to Hashem in that moment, that a person can be uplifted and then give with a full heart, full mind, from his soul, blessings to his children. Baruch Hashem, it turned out it was Yaakov, but the point is, it's a mitzvah to enjoy this world for the sake of being grateful and happy and appeased and intimate. Ha-gila, in Hebrew, means the revelation. I'm playing with the English. H is happiness, A, appeasement, Gimel, G is gratitude, I, intimacy with Hashem, L is the biggest of them all, love. Hashem, you're doing all this because you love us, so that we will love you back for the simple reason that you love us way more than we could ever possibly imagine. In the schus of knowing that the real purpose of eating is really to come to Avas Hashem, Yiras Hashem, Dveikus in Hashem, and to be appeased to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and to know that you don't give up on me because you're going to make me hungry by the morning. And if I forgot to go through Hagila, then don't worry, this lunchtime I'll probably be hungry by then, and then there's supper, and you'll keep doing that till my last meal. In the schus of knowing that the purpose of eating is to be close to Hashem, we should all be zeicha to greet Mashiach b'mihera Amen, Amen, b'simcha. Dr. Yesser went over.
Shem Egan Shirtai, like to big a shekayach to Rabbi Yonatan from Inspiring Drasha, like to big a shekayach to sponsors Be'elim Shem, and the sponsor Mr. and Mrs. Matis Abraham, and all the dedications that we announced at the beginning of the share. To have the great schus of sponsoring a share, call 718-851-8651 or email ist@yeshivanet.com. Yeshikach to Orban for coming, and Chananya ben Akashia Omer. עוד הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכס ישראל לפי ככיבלם תאר מיtzvah שנאמר עלי נוי חופש למען צדקה יגדל תאר וידר